it's time for some professional boxing. This will be Earl, the new generation Jackson, with a record of 7 wins and no losses, 2 draws, taking on Chris Sande with 10 wins and 2 losses. This is a middleweight bout here on the 8-Count Boxing Hour. And there you see referee Carlos Padilla getting ready for this middleweight encounter. You're looking at Chris Benoit Sande. Let's go up to the ring announcer now and get the call on this fight.
The judges will be Paul Smith, Al Siciliano, and Al Lefkowitz. Once again, your referee is Carlos Padilla. The next bout of the evening featuring 8 rounds of boxing in the middleweight division. Introducing, in the red corner, fighting out of Denver, Colorado, weighing in at 155 pounds, with a professional record of 7 wins, no defeats, 2 draws, with 5 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the undefeated Earl, the new generation Jackson. And in the blue corner, Former Olympian Africa, now fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, weighing in at 160 pounds, with a professional record of 10 wins, 2 defeats, no draws, with 3 KOs. He is a bronze medalist in the Olympic competition, introducing the very popular Chris Sande. 8 rounds of boxing. 8 rounds of boxing.
Okay, we're set to go now here from the Aladdin Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. Chris Sande in the white trunks, Earl Jackson in the black trunks. You see the 2 men touch the gloves and they're ready to go. Round 1 about ready to get underway here. And there's the bell for round 1. Earl, the new generation Jackson in the black trunks. Earl Jackson out of Denver, Colorado. His opponent in the white trunks, Chris Sande. Earl Jackson undefeated. The man in the black trunks is undefeated with a record of 7 wins and no losses, with 2 draws, 5 of those wins coming by knockout. His opponent, highly regarded Chris Sande, with a record of 10-2. There's a good left hand from Earl Jackson. Earl, the new generation Jackson. Chris Sande represented Kenya in the 1984 Olympics, coming away with a bronze medal, so he's quite a fighter. And Sande faced our own Daniel Pitbull Perez here in Albuquerque a couple of years back. Daniel Perez coming out with a unanimous decision victory. Chris Sande can punch a little bit. He had Danny Perez hurt, actually dropping Perez to 1 knee. But Daniel came back to win the victory, to take the victory. And now you see the referee warning Chris Sande and Jackson. Earl Jackson coming in with his hands high. Sande with the faster hands. Earl Jackson would probably be considered the heavy hitter. I mean, he's known as a knockout puncher. I'm not that sure, however, that he has any more power than Chris Sande. So you see Earl Jackson now using that jab. Chris Sande is a southpaw. You'll see Chris Sande leading with his right hand. There you see some good body shots from Sande. There's a good hand speed shown by Chris Sande in the white trunks. Good crowd here at the Aladdin Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. Professional boxing. You see Chris Sande now trying to establish his jab, coming forward. Earl Jackson hoping to land a good shot and hurt Sande. We're in the opening round now. This bout's scheduled for 8 rounds. These are middleweights. Chris Sande in the white trunks came in at 160 pounds, right at the middleweight limit. Earl Jackson No problem at all. Earl has been fighting in the junior middleweight division. He comes into this bout weighing 155. And there's the bell to end the first round. So Chris Sande and Earl Jackson getting one. And he was very impressive, defeating Robbie Lovato at the state Golden Gloves. Now you see Sande coming out with that jab. In a battle of hand speed, you have to give the edge to Chris Sande. And there you see a good combination from Sande. Look at the body shots coming down underneath. Chris Sande digging to the body. Earl Jackson trying to counter to the head, but not landing flush. And Earl Jackson is used to running his opponents over, and right now it's Chris Sande pushing Jackson back. Chris Sande is a very strong fighter. He's not known as a heavy knockout puncher, but he's very strong. He's hard to control. And I think Earl Jackson's really going to need to land a big bomb and hurt Sande to get this fight going his way. I really doubt that he would be able to outbox Chris Sande, the Olympic bronze medalist. You see Earl Jackson a little bit more on his toes now, circling to his left. Oh, there's a good left hand from Sande. Chris Sande came out on fire with his career. He started off undefeated. He was being pushed along real well until he ran into Lamar Kidfire Parks on ABC television. Chris Sande was surprised in that fight. Parks ended up surprising him. Lamar Parks went on from there, and he's been quite a fighter ever since. Chris Sande really having trouble climbing into the top 10, but he's hovering in the top upper echelons of the middleweight division right now. Again, Earl Jackson with that weak jab. Earl Jackson a southpaw also, so both men, a battle of southpaws, battle of left-handers. Of course, I believe Earl Jackson will switch up. He'll switch from southpaw back to the orthodox right-handed style. Try to use that to confuse his opponent. Chris Sande doing the better scoring here. Doing a lot of scoring to the body. Jackson coming up short now with those jabs. Kind of throwing a lazy jab out there, and that could cost him. There's the bell to end the second round. So another good round for... We're about ready to start, and there it is. Round 3 underway now. This bout scheduled for 8. Chris Sande in the white trunks, Earl Jackson in the black. Earl Jackson out of Denver, Colorado, undefeated. 7 wins, no losses, 2 draws, and 5 knockouts. But right now he's more than meeting his match with Chris Sande. Again, you see Sande trying to go downstairs. So it looks like his game plan will be to get down there and go to Jackson's body. Again, you see the body punches from Sande. And he comes up over with a left hook. And you can see that Earl Jackson now has gone back to the right-handed stance. And there's a good left again from Chris Sande. Chris Sande's fight in Albuquerque here with Daniel Perez was a tremendous fight. It was on the undercard of a Johnny Tapia USBA title defense. I believe it was the walkout match. And it went the full 6 rounds. Heck of a fight. A very close decision for Daniel Perez. And I've talked to Daniel several occasions since that fight, and he has great respect for Chris Sande. And I'm sure Chris Sande has tremendous respect for Daniel Perez. The only two fighters to beat Sandy, Daniel Perez and Lamar Kidfire Parks. Earl Jackson, undefeated, but he really hasn't fought the caliber of fighters that Chris Sande has fought, and certainly Chris Sande is the best fighter that Jackson has faced to this point. And now you see Jackson coming in with a two-handed attack, doing a little scoring on Sande. Neither man would really be considered a dancer. You'd have to say that Chris Sande is a little more of a workman, and Earl Jackson definitely just a swinger, just a slugger. Sande continuing to work with that jab and the body shots. There's a good left from Sande. Chris Benoit Sande, the pride of Las Vegas, Nevada. There's a solid left hand again from Sande. Chris Sande working with that left hand, very effective right now. Earl Jackson being pushed back. At the bell. So another good round for Chris Sande. Round 4 now underway. See Earl Jackson being very cautious. He's trying to land that right hand, but Sande very effective in countering, and this is keeping Earl Jackson off balance. Previous fights, Earl Jackson has been very aggressive. The referee, Carlos Padilla, world-class referee, working many world title fights. Again, Chris Sande going to the body and then coming upstairs. He's sticking to that fight plan, a very disciplined fighter. Again, you see Chris Sande definitely in control of this match, using the jab and the body attack, pushing Earl Jackson back. Again, you see Chris Sande just like he can't wait to get in there and get downstairs and start banging into the body. Those shots are landing. The lost art of body punching. Of course, there's quite a few good body punchers around these days. The one that comes to everybody's mind would have to be Julio Cesar Chavez. And Albuquerque's own Danny Romero, another good body puncher, as well as Daniel Perez. And Earl Jackson now tries to sneak in a right hand to the body. Chris Sande just walking forward with that jab. There's a good left hand from Sande, pushing Jackson back. Oh, and a solid right hand from Sande. And he goes right to work on the body now. I think Earl Jackson's starting to get softened up a little bit here. Looks like Sande's body attack is really wearing down the Colorado fighter. And there's the bell to end the 4th round. So we go to the 5th now of this bout scheduled for 8. Round 5 now underway, bout scheduled for 8. Chris Sande in the white trunks, Earl Jackson, the new generation Jackson, in the black trunks. Coming to you from the Aladdin Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. Dan Cisneros at ringside here on the 8-Count Boxing Hour. And again, Jackson trying to stick the right hand in, and Sande like a buzzsaw just chopping him down with both hands. And you see Sande with that combination punching. Earl Jackson's pot shotting, no match for the combinations of Sande right now. A lot of water dripping off the trunks of Earl Jackson. So they must have really been trying hard to revive him. I think he's really fatigued. They're trying to freshen him up, hoping he can land that big power shot he's known for. 5 of his opponents have been knocked out, so they're hoping that Earl Jackson can come back with a big knockout here. He's definitely behind on points, in my book anyway, unofficially. I've got Chris Sande ahead in a shutout. Chris Sande, the busier and more effective puncher right now. His body shots are really doing a number on Jackson, an occasional big shot to the head. Jackson has really not caught Sande flush yet. Earl Jackson, you gotta love that nickname, the new generation. And what he means by that, I don't know. Maybe he's the new generation of middleweight coming out of Colorado. But right now he needs the big power to hurt Sande to get back in this fight. A good battle of young up-and-coming middleweights. Earl Jackson now trying the southpaw stance. He's trying to find something that will work against Sande. Chris Sande just too crafty, too polished, and too strong right now for Earl Jackson. Chris Sande like a tank, continuing to come forward. Jackson giving the ground. And now Sande just bangs on his body. Jackson hangs on. There's a good uppercut, kind of an uppercut from Chris Sande to end the round. So another good round for Chris Sande. And round 6 now underway. This bout is scheduled for 8 rounds. Earl Jackson definitely running out of rounds. He's going to have to win these last 3, I would say, to have any kind of chance to win this fight. And Chris Sande very calmly just stalking forward, throwing jabs and body shots. A good assortment of punches from Chris Sande in the white trunks. Chris Sande now really looking like he's fresh and like he can pretty much do whatever he wants. Jackson slowing down little by little each round. Jackson with the look of a hurt fighter, a hurt and tired fighter right now. And there's a good left hand from Sande. I think Jackson's a little hurt right now. There's a big left hand from Sande now. Jackson again. A body shot now and a left hand. The referee's looking. That's it. Carlos Padilla's had enough of this. No, he doesn't want Jackson to get hurt. He's starting to get pummeled by Chris Sande. The referee Carlos Padilla steps in and this fight's over. So round number 6 was the good round for Chris Sande as he finishes off Earl Jackson with a consistent, just a consistent body attack. Earl Jackson not able to handle it. And I think Earl Jackson has learned a big lesson here tonight. He'll have to go back to the gym and work on honing his skills, getting into condition. He stepped up to the next level and wasn't able to meet the challenge of Chris Sande. So Earl Jackson never able to unleash those bombs that he's known for. supposedly has a wicked right hand with 5 knockouts, but never evident tonight against Chris Sande. The referee did a good job. Not much argument from Earl Jackson. He could see Carlos Padilla has the experience to know that the man was hurt. He was really out of the fight, and he did the right thing when Sande jumped on him. And by the way, stay tuned now, because after this fight we're going to have a tremendous kickboxing match for you. Amateur kickboxing from West Mesa High School in Albuquerque. That will be following this bout here. So hang on to your horses, because it's going to be a wild affair when Victor Aragon and Patrick McMahon get it on at West Mesa High School here in Albuquerque. Let's go up to the ring
Ladies
announcer.
and gentlemen, the time, 1 minute, 20 seconds of the 6th round. Referee Carlos Padilla stops to found the winner by a